Listen to this episode if you are wanting to maximize your holiday sales and you're wondering, when should I start? What do I need to do? I always say that your holiday sales are built in the summertime and before. And so today we're going to dive really deep into why we have to start the holidays early. What should you do? Some common mistakes. We're going to talk about the timeline, some compounding strategies, what to do now, common mistakes, and how this will actually help you create more balance as we get closer to the overall holiday season. Now, I know your girl's in shorts and a tank top, and I'm talking about the holiday season. It's like the first 93-degree day where I live, but yet we're talking about the holidays, which feels a little weird, but in business, we have to start working 4 to 6 months in advance. And so we are going to be talking about this today and what that really means. 70% of consumer spending happens in Q3 and Q4, which means at the point that you're listening to this, like just about 30% of consumer spending for the year has happened, which means there's a lot of opportunity for sales, which means we want to be as optimized as possible, which means we want to be as efficient with the eyes and with the sales that will happen as we possibly can. If you feel like you're kind of bummed, we're after the 6-month mark, after the 50% mark of the year, you're feeling a little bummed as to where you were at, your sales just weren't really where you wanted them to be, but you really are wanting to grow. If that's where you are, there is so much opportunity in front of you, but we have to get started now. And I don't want that to be something where like, oh my gosh, she's putting pressure on me. 20% off on Black Friday weekend is totally fine. I've never had any problems before. If you want to see major growth and you want life-changing momentum come the holiday season to end your year strong and really have some of that momentum building, that is what we're talking about today. And if you wait until November to think about holiday sales, even October, you are already too late. And so I don't want this to be like a fear mongering. That is never my goal. My goal is to tell you kind of the pieces of the strategies and what you have to do in order to be as successful as possible. And that is what we're talking about today. So we really have to start thinking about kind of buyer psychology. Now that we're in June, people start to buy or at least browse in October. I'm a fall gal. All right. I love fall. So I, just like anybody else, wants to revel in fall. I'm not somebody that loves to buy Christmas trees in September and putting that bad boy up. However, people are thinking about holiday shopping in October, which means from right now, you only have a few months until this holiday momentum has started to build. And for the majority of people, September, October, November, and December are all busier months. They kind of build to have this big kind of grand finale in December for Christmas. And so everything compounds to build that momentum. If you want to have, like I said, kind of that life-changing amount of momentum, all of it builds into the Christmas season. And so that is really what we have to talk about. If you had a slow first half of the year, or haven't seen growth yet, without change, nothing will change. And just because more people are buying doesn't mean people automatically buy with poor performing marketing. So I hear a lot of people that are like, oh, it's fine, the holidays are coming and my sales will pick up. And it's like, yes, however, we also can optimize that. If you aren't seeing good results now, that means when the holidays are here, your results are not actually optimized and you're not actually taking the biggest piece of the pie that you possibly could. So we need time in order for your emails, your social, your marketing, your website, your changes to actually compound to give us the best results come the holidays. And that compounded time needs a couple of months at the very least. So from right now, in the middle of July, when this is coming out, you need to start working now in order to have enough time to actually build that momentum, nurture your community, and get either new people working, get new people in front of you, and really get this kind of like momentum to build by the time October, November, and December are here. So if you change nothing, nothing will also change. And that is something that we absolutely need to work on. Before we dive too deep into this, next we're going to talk about what you should be doing right now. I just want to take 10 quick seconds to introduce myself. How rude. I haven't done that yet. My name is Madison Page. I am a business growth specialist. I help small businesses turn into brands so you can absolutely reach that big potential and all of those big ambitious goals. I teach you strategies. I teach you mindset tips. I teach you what it actually takes in order to get there. If that's something you want to do, make sure that you're following along on this podcast, even If you are here and you're here all the time, only 30% of you are following the podcast, which is such a crazy statistic to me. You're typing it in every single week. You might as well follow along and get notified every time a new episode is out there. So, what should you be doing right now? I know that that's what a lot of you guys are asking. You're like, Maddie, it's July. What can I seriously actually be doing right now in order to get there? Now, there's some tangible things that we can do that's actually preparing for the holidays. And then there's like optimization side of things. First things first, from a tangible standpoint, is you can be inventory planning or stockpiling, especially if you're handmade. One of the biggest problems that I see people in like the middle of November, December, is they're like, oh my gosh, I'm like out of inventory. But yet right now, when your sales might be a little bit slower, you aren't actually producing the inventory for then. So either your inventory planning, you're stockpiling kind of your best sellers. We're looking at some predictions. Are you wanting to do, gift boxes, things like that? And so how will that change the overall inventory planning? What are we really looking at pushing? What are we really wanting to incentivize people to buy? And how can we start planning some of that inventory? We can talk to the manufacturers, talk to whoever makes your products, whether that's you, a production team, or actually the manufacturers. And how can we make sure that we're avoiding back orders, or we might be prepping some inventory, and how can we get some of that kind of momentum moving? So we want to be thinking about, we're about to have so many more sales. We need to look at the production process. How can we actually streamline that? And if you aren't getting it manufactured, how can we actually start stockpiling some inventory now with kind of the perception that we know people are going to start buying in the next couple of weeks? The next one is, next couple of months. The next one is actually prepping your marketing and your launches. So it's very common for brands to work 6, 8, 12 months in advance. I have clients that I have already approved their spring 2026 collections because they're working so much in advance. Some brands their manufacturers need a really long lead time. If that's you should already be kind of doing this, of knowing what you're going to launch and what this looks like. Or if you are handmade, a little bit smaller, you don't yet work that far in advance, we want to be mapping out your launch campaigns. Are you doing a Black Friday sale? What are all of those different campaigns now? Because this allows us to be able to, again, manage your inventory properly. Again, know what you're pushing, knowing what your best sellers might be, knowing what we need to have more inventory on. You can also kind of begin to test things now with your marketing and your sales. Hey, why don't we try to test a $10 hoops or whatever, $10 hoop promotion, or let's try to test different styles of promotions and see how they work. So when we want them to be the most optimized, we have already tested them now. So if we don't look that far ahead, we can't test. And so if you wait until October, November, I have a lot of clients that'll message me. I have people in my community every single year. It's like November 10th, and they're like, hey, what are we thinking to do for Black Friday? Or like, hey, I'm planning my Black Friday stuff and it'll be like the 20th of November. And I know you're out there saying, ooh, guilty. I know you're out there right now. And you're like, shoot, is that not what I'm supposed to do? And so then you just slap 20% off of your whole website, site-wide, Black Friday deal, 20% off. Oh my gosh, go and shop. And that is actually doing more harm than good in the long run. First things first, you might make a couple of sales, you might not, but you're not actually properly preparing to optimize and to really have the most effective holiday season that you can have. This is something I see every single year, is there's such an opportunity for sales in Q3 and Q4. And so many people just wish it away by not being organized and not planning ahead enough, not optimizing, not taking time to learn the strategies and to fill their gaps now in order to actually get there. Which brings me to the next thing that we can be doing right now is optimization. Again, whether we're looking at website, social, emails, marketing, audience, community, whatever, it takes time to compound the strategies and the actions for your audience to kick in, for your audience to be nurtured, for your sales to start improving, and for us to be able to see where your gaps still are. Sometimes it takes a couple of different tweaks in order to properly optimize. So again, if you wait until October And you are seeing that momentum then in the middle of December or January. If you're making changes in October, hoping it's going to change and like really make changes for you in December, it might still help, but it's not actually going to be the most effective or the most optimized version of what could actually be done. It's the difference between making $5,000 and $10,000. It's the difference between making, $20,000 for the whole holiday season and $50,000 for the whole holiday season and actually having life-changing money. I have always said that the holiday season is when your next year's sales are even built, is because you are able to have so much more profit, so much more resources to actually invest back into the business. And then you invest back into the business in Q1 and Q2 for your next holiday season to really propel your business forward. Your holiday season is where we are able to build the resources and build a business that we can actually grow further, because we should be able to get more profits. We should be able to get more sales to come in if you actually optimize the things now and actually make your holiday season the most effective. So it's not just enough to have the campaigns. Okay, we're doing buy one, get one free. We're doing 20% off this weekend, 15% off this weekend. Here's these gift boxes. Those are all great. We can also optimize what's going on to make the eyes that you have more effective, to actually get in front of more people. Your gaps that you have now are tenfold during the holiday season. And just because more people are buying doesn't mean that they will buy despite poor performing marketing. So if your marketing is performing poorly now, if your conversion rate is 1% on your website, if you are not converting sales like every time that you post on social media, or some of those things that are like major indicators, if you don't know how to get $1,000 in over the weekend or whatever it looks like, if you don't feel like you have control over your marketing and your sales now, you have that much less control. It might feel like you have more sales coming in just because some people are shopping, but those sales, again, it's the difference between having 10 sales and 100 sales. It's the difference between having 20 sales and 50 sales. It's the difference between having more sales come in and having an incredible holiday season that you're like, holy cow, this is going to propel my business forward from now and into the future. So how can we actually improve your actions, your marketing, your sales to maximize the eyes and stand out in the noise of the holiday season? Because just because more people are buying, more people are also selling at that same time. Hey, I'm jumping in here for 30 quick seconds for those of you listening and thinking, all right, but how do I actually apply this to my business? Every week here, I share strategies, case studies, growth mistakes to avoid, but your business growth is nuanced, so your business support has to be nuanced as well. That's why all of my support includes me inside of your business, your ideas, your launches, your content, perfecting what you're already building and uncovering your hidden opportunities to scale. This isn't a cookie cutter course. It's a high level personalized support system to help you optimize your brand, your strategy, and every single person your business touches. If you want my eyes and my brain on your branding, your sales, your marketing, and your overall growth plan, click the link in the show notes to apply. Let's see what we can build together. So that doesn't mean that just because more people are buying, meaning they will buy from you. Last but not least is we can be looking at your overall customer experience. We can look at your holiday packaging. A lot of times, the holidays also build new customers and they also build repeat customers because so many people are buying the gifts for people. They are also giving the gifts that other people receive. And so you have two people that are attached to a lot of your gifts. You have the person that's giving the gift and you have the person that is receiving the gift. So we can do a lot to the customer experience. There's 2 touch points with every purchase. Oftentimes, some people are buying for themselves, and so we can actually optimize that to get the gift receiver to buy from you again and the gift giver. What does that take? How can we really start making some of those changes now? Having some holiday packaging, you might need some timelines for shipping, starting to really get prepared. And are we doing gift boxes? What does that look like? How can we really, again, amplify everything we have going forward? Having some clear communication with your audience. If you have that clear communication, you're really prepped, you're really organized, your audience is going to feel it, you're going to have higher conversions, and you're going to have fewer just issues in general. And so some common mistakes to avoid. Before we do that, I want to wrap that up. What should we be doing now? Inventory planning and prep, marketing launch prep, customer experience advancements, and above all else, what you need to be doing now is optimization. In July, the biggest piece of what we need to do is optimization. So we know come September and October, your momentum is peaking, not just beginning. If you wait until October to start making changes for the holiday season, then you are actually doing yourself a disservice, because your momentum will then be peaking in January and February, which fewer people are buying. And so we want that momentum to be peaking when people are shopping. This is why a lot of people are doing awareness campaigns. They do a lot of brand recognition. They do brand trips in the summer because they're trying to get more people to be aware of their brand. It's not just awareness, it's also optimization, conversion rates, and optimizing the eyes that you already have. Common mistakes. Some of these I've already touched on. Waiting until October to adjust marketing or sales. Thinking sales will be optimized just because there's more people shopping. Creating new products instead of optimizing and relaunching bestsellers. Creating new products and trying to build product education during the holidays is really hard because there's so much noise. There's so many people marketing. There's so many people selling. It's hard to actually get proper information out because there's too much going on. And so when you're launching new products during the holidays, sometimes it can actually be really hard for people to make proper decisions around that. So if you can have bestsellers and really double down on that, I am a big fan of bestsellers during the holidays. Not collecting emails or warming up your list in your community now, so not getting your audience prepped to buy from you in a couple of months. Overcommitting to too many promotions, or on the other side, throwing together 20% off site-wide on Black Friday. If your audience knows that you do 70% off on Black Friday every year, they're not buying from you the rest of the year because they're just going to wait until Black Friday. You're actually doing yourself a disservice by doing a major Black Friday sale because it's memorable and people will know about it. You might get a couple of sales, but it's actually hurting your sales. I have probably a list of five businesses that I only buy from on Black Friday because I know every single year they do a 50% off site-wide. It's the only time of year I'll buy from them. I'll wait 12 months to buy from them again because I know I can get it for 50% off, as well as overcommitting to too many promotions. If you're just strictly having crazy amounts of promotions for like 6 to 8 weeks, your audience will get tired. We need to have that like marketing calendar really prepped for that. Last but not least is not optimizing production before your busy season. Again, if you're hand making items, start making them now for the holidays. So then you can work on marketing, you can work on sales, you can work on customer, you can work on more inventory, you can work on so many better things then. If you're slow now, then you need to be building now for the holiday season. Last but not least, I want to talk about balance here. As you know, everything I do preaches freedom. I preach balance. I preach how can we build a business that actually allows us to be very fulfilled in and of ourselves and not actually lose out. Holiday season is such a fun time with your family, with your friends, with your kids, whatever that might be. And if you are dreading the holiday season already because you're like, Maddie, it's July. Don't even tell me about that like hellhole of an 8-week period that I am just like, don't even talk to me about it. I don't even like Christmas anymore. I hear that all the time. If you start prepping now, your holiday season will not feel like that. Your holiday season will not have to be this like incredibly in-depth, holy cow, I'm working 20 hours a day and I like can barely sleep. I can barely eat. I don't have enough hours in the day to get everything done. The early prep means less chaos later on. It means more confidence. It means organization. How good would it feel for you to walk into the holiday season knowing your website has been optimized, knowing your emails are converting really, really high, knowing your marketing is working and your community is popping off, knowing that you have your marketing calendar planned out, you have your promotions planned out, and you know exactly what you need to do. You can have a profitable holiday season and still enjoy it. You can have a holiday season that is life-changing for you to be able to reinvest back into your business in the new year and really like gain a lot of momentum, have all of these things happening, and still enjoy the holiday season personally. But that has to start now. The people that are the most burned out are the ones that are waiting until October and November to do some of these things because you're like on this treadmill. You're like on a hamster wheel trying to get somewhere and you're never going to get somewhere because you're just trying to keep up. So if you have extra time now, we need to set aside time to do this. If you don't have extra time now, we have to set aside time to do this because otherwise you will absolutely struggle in the long run. We don't want to like panic. We don't want to take our busiest season and be reactive with it. We want to be proactive. We want to be organized. We want to be strategic. And we already want to be optimized by the time people are shopping in October. We want things to be optimized, and that all starts now. So my biggest question for you is, what can you do this week to prepare yourself for that? How can we just start mapping things out? How can you look at these 4 major things that you can be doing? Inventory, marketing, customer experience, and optimization. How can we look at just start planning and organizing? I want you to identify that one thing right now. What do you know you need to do before the holidays start? I'm sure you have something. Identify it right now, write it down, and start actually doing it. I always say Q3 and 4 sales are built in Q1 and 2. And Q3 and 4 sales build the momentum you're able to do in Q1 and Q2. That doesn't mean that you are too late to do this. Don't say, my first 6 months were a wash. They didn't really go well in business. I just, it might not be, it just isn't my year. The economy's bad. All these people aren't buying right now. I keep hearing people say that. That's not true. I have businesses that are blowing up every single week. It is not true that people aren't buying right now. Consumer confidence was up in June. All right. So that means that people are buying. People are buying more than they were a couple of weeks ago. And so that means that you are not too late to make changes now that absolutely can change the life of your business in the next couple of weeks, in the next couple of months. If you're upset about low to little momentum in these first couple of months, you can still build it, because there is so much money that is going to be in circulation in the next couple of months. There is so many sales that are going to be happening in the next couple of months. We still have 70% of consumer spending happening this year that has not been done yet, which means you have the opportunity to make the sales, to hit your sales metrics, even if you're behind, because the bottom half of the year are weighted. But it's time to start making changes now. It's time to get strategic. It's time to get organized. It's time to have systems in place to know that you are optimized, to know that you are being efficient, to know that you are strategized and you're not throwing spaghetti at the wall. Again, your gaps now tenfold during the holiday season. So if you're right now, you're like, what the heck should I post? Your audience feels that, and your results will feel that tenfold. The holiday season is when your gaps can be most prevalent, because you might feel like, okay, more people are buying, but that's just because more people are shopping. But it's the difference between having 5 orders, 10 orders, and having 100 orders, 150 orders. It's the difference between making $10,000 and $50,000. And it absolutely can still be built right now. I see it every year. People that are building right now in the summer, taking time that might be a little bit slower, that might be, not as many people are buying, to actually change their life in the next couple of months. If you are ready to do that, do it. Start making the changes, start realizing what strategies you need to learn, what you need to implement, and what you need to change in order to do that. If you want help with that, you can DM me Holiday on Instagram, and I would love to support you in this, love to provide you some support. And we can identify, what are your gaps right now? What do we need to change? And what are the most important things that you need to change in the next 3 months in order to get you to that point? Because you can still change your life. You can still change your production. You can still make it more balanced. You can enjoy Christmas again. You can enjoy the holidays again, if we start prepping now, and it can still be the highest profit that you've ever had in your business. I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope it was good. I hope it was a little bit of a pep talk. You can change your life in just a couple of months if you are willing to go all in on learning the strategies, filling your gaps, and identifying what it takes in order for you to get there. And I want that for you so bad. The holiday season, I see it every year, changes people's lives. I see it all of the time. And then come January, you have so many more resources to reinvest back into your business and grow it in a totally different way. I hope that this was helpful for you. I love you. I'm rooting for you. I'm in your corner always. I will see you in the next episode. If you found today's episode helpful and are looking for more tangible ways to grow your business, make sure you are subscribed to the show. If you want to dive deeper into this topic more, click the link in the show notes and join our completely free podcast community, where we dive into every single podcast topic, as well as give some bonus support and free coaching calls. And finally, if you are interested in getting my eyes on your business to find your hidden opportunities to scale, apply to work with me one-on-one in the show notes or on our website. Remember, it's not enough to listen. Don't forget to implement too. I love ya. I'll see you in the next episode.